Welcome back, dear listeners, to another episode of Susan Lopresti Wellness, Mind, Body, and Soul, the podcast where we explore the highs, the lows, and everything in between when it comes to a woman's life, her health, and all aspects of navigating the midlife landscape. I'm your host, Susan Lopresti, and today I want to talk to you about a very serious topic, and that is the link or the connection between hearing loss and dementia. So, I want to start out this episode by saying, as always, if you notice a change in your health, if you notice that you're not hearing as well as you used to, or maybe one of your elderly parents are not hearing as well as they used to, please don't ignore those signals. Every symptom that we have is a message. It's our body talking to us. Now, your elderly parents may not want to admit that they cannot hear as well as they used to, but yet you may notice that they are asking you over and over again to repeat it, or just giving back a wrong answer to a question because they really didn't hear the question and they are trying to cover it up. So don't ignore those symptoms, because it is something that could lead to dementia if your hearing is not addressed. So I want to get into this crucial topic and the connection that there is between hearing loss and dementia. And you may not realize that, but this issue is gaining a lot of attention in the medical community, and understanding it can significantly impact our approach to health and well-being, especially as we're aging. So let's understand that correlation between hearing loss and dementia. Hearing loss, particularly age-related hearing loss, is a common condition affecting millions of people worldwide. And similarly, dementia, including Alzheimer's disease, is a growing concern, with the number of cases expected to rise as the global population is aging. And there is this connection between hearing loss and dementia. Research has shown a very strong correlation between the two, and studies indicate that people with significant hearing loss are more likely to develop dementia compared to those with normal hearing. And there are several theories that explain this connection. And the first one is cognitive load. And when hearing becomes difficult, right, the brain has to work harder to process sounds. And the extra effort can strain cognitive resources, potentially leading to a decline in cognitive function over time. So it's not going to happen overnight, but over time, you will begin to see a decline in cognitive function. And another reason for that is social isolation. So hearing loss often leads to social withdrawal. People may avoid social situations because they find it challenging to communicate, which can lead to loneliness and isolation. And social isolation is a known risk factor for dementia. And I do know that during COVID, the elderly who were isolating or social distancing and were in seclusion and not around other people really had a decline in their mental health, whether it became depression or cognitive decline or just terrible feelings of isolation. It definitely played a part. And you may know someone whose cognitive function did decline during COVID. And then there's brain structure changes that are also taking place. There is evidence that hearing loss may cause changes in brain structure. The auditory cortex can shrink due to reduced stimulation, and this can have a cascading effect on other cognitive processes. So, what can be done? While the connection between hearing loss and dementia is concerning, there are several steps that can be taken to mitigate this risk. First, like I said, is early detection and intervention, not just knowing about that so and so is having trouble hearing, but actually getting involved and intervening. So, regular hearing checkups are key, especially for those over 50, can really help to detect hearing loss early. And then there's the use of hearing aids. Hearing aids can significantly improve hearing and reduce the cognitive load on the brain. And back in the day, hearing aids weren't that great, and there were a lot of issues with them, which led to a lot of people giving up on using them. But they have come a long way. So do your research on hearing aids and get a hearing aid that is going to not have some of the issues that used to be, like, I believe it was very high pitch, it was very loud, a lot of times there was like ringing in your ears. So I know that they weren't perfected, but I think as time has gone on, there have been many improvements. So do your research. And I want to talk about cognitive training and rehabilitation, because auditory training programs are designed to improve listening skills, right? And sound processing can help to maintain cognitive function. So you need to get into rehabilitation if you're noticing these things going on. And there's cognitive exercises, engaging in activities that challenge the brain, such as puzzles and reading or learning a new skill, learning an instrument. Anything new involving learning can really help to keep the mind sharp. And so you want to be sure that either you or your elderly parents or someone that you're caring for is utilizing their brain on a day-to-day basis, not just sitting in front of the TV. That is not utilizing the brain. You want to also make sure that you're maintaining healthy lifestyle choices. So what I mean, physical activity is key. It's key on so many levels. Regular exercise has been shown to benefit both physical and cognitive health. There are proven studies on that. So if you notice that someone is declining in their cognitive function, go take a walk with them, right? And make it a daily or a weekly or whatever you can manage to fill in with that person. Or if it's yourself, start walking daily, physical activity. Do things that you enjoy doing. Take a bike ride, take up pickleball, take up tennis, take up golf. Do something. The other thing is that you need to have a healthy diet, which goes without saying, but it can never be repeated too much. A balanced diet that's rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, healthy fats. This can all help to support overall brain health. And then another no-brainer is avoiding smoking and excessive alcohol. These can contribute to cognitive decline and should be avoided at all costs. So understanding the link between hearing loss and dementia highlights the importance of addressing hearing issues early and comprehensively. By taking proactive steps, such as regular hearing checkups, hearing aids, staying socially engaged, and maintaining a healthy lifestyle, we can reduce the risk of cognitive decline and promote better overall health as we age. So I just want to thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you think that this episode would benefit someone who you know and love, who you may notice is starting to either decline cognitively or through their hearing, this episode may spark something in them to take action so that it doesn't get progressively worse, because it will. And besides that, I want to get my message out wide and far to as many people as possible. The purpose of my podcast is for us to maintain good health as we're aging, right? We want to be able to live long, healthy, happy, productive lives for many years to come. We don't want to be old and decrepit and in our 80s and 90s, and we're just waiting for the day to come that the good Lord takes us. That is not living. That is just surviving. We want to be thriving, right? And so that's the purpose of my podcast, to get my message out to as many people as possible. So again, if you know someone who could benefit from this episode or any other episode that I've put out so far, please share it with your friends and your family. You're doing both me and them a great service, and I'm sure that they will appreciate you as I know that I will. Until the next time, be well, stay happy, and bye for now. Take good care, everyone.